Welcome to another episode of Leadership is Female with Emily and Paige. If you didn't know, we are really into goal setting around here, and I've been publishing a goal setting guide for a few years now that I've shared on social media. It's on the website if you want to download the template, either emilyjaenson.com or leadershipisfemale.com. Go ahead and check that out. And today is a very special episode, and I'm so excited because I convinced Paige to do the goal setting exercise.
Get my life together. Please help me get it together.
Talk about accountability partners right here, huh? Like, it's not just me. Now it's all of our listeners there's like hundreds and hundreds. Actually, I think we're probably going to peak at about 1,000 women that are going to be wondering if Paige has met her goals this year, coming into this new year. So the way this exercise works, if you have not done it before, is before you can think about what you want to do in the new year, you have to acknowledge what you've done this year. It is so, so important to set the tone for the way that you think about yourself and what is possible for yourself in one year. So the way that this starts out is with a personal review. So 2022 personal review. I'm going to go over this with Paige. It's biggest professional achievement of the year, personal achievement of the year, most important lesson you learned, and what felt difficult 1 year ago that feels easier today. And I truly think that answering these questions really helps you to focus on the goals for the new year because you think about how far you've come. Was that your experience, Paige?
It was, and it really helped guide me for my 2023 goals. I haven't quite got there yet, but after kind of outlining what I did do in 2020, because on a personal and professional year, it's been probably the longest year of my life. It was fun to refer back to and be like, wow, I actually did that. I can have a really strong start to 2023. So I think it was a very different approach than I maybe have done at different organizations that I've been at. So I will say, enjoyed my experience and ready for you all to hold me very accountable in this new year.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's start off with your biggest professional achievement of 2022.
Okay. A lot of these I have multiple answers, so bear with me. But my first one was being promoted to oversee the partnership services team at Spartan. That opportunity came and I was not expecting it, and feel very grateful that the company embraced and chose to support me versus hiring outside. And then my second one was winning a very complicated bid with Lexus. We were awarded an RFP through a traditional media buying agency. Spartan is not built for that in any way. I had no idea what I was doing on the planning sheet, but we got to create some really amazing ideas and ultimately won that bid. And I've developed a really great content series, on-site activation, and I've learned so much about media buying now. So that was something that I've been extremely proud of this year.
Go, Paige. Look at those professional achievements of yours.
Did it.
Climbing that ladder and also broadening the scope of your skill set and what you know you're capable of doing. I absolutely love that. Okay, biggest personal achievement of 2022. It's important to look at personal and professional. We don't just set professional goals here because we're living in a 3D world, right? We have to represent both sides of the person.
I love it. So another one where I have 3. I am finally taking the steps towards financial wellness. So as we all know, in the sports industry, it takes a little bit to become a little bit lucrative. So finally taking the steps to be able to talk about investments and really setting myself up for the future. So feeling good about that. I now actually enjoy fitness. So I have maybe not have had the best health habits or maybe kind of abused the idea of fitness. So now I'm in a really good spot where it's something I enjoy. It's no longer a self-punishment. And then lastly, moving to Florida to be with my long distance boyfriend was a huge move for me. And I've always kind of put the professional things ahead of that, and the stars finally aligned. So it's been really, really fun to be in the same city and house as my person. So those are the three things I'm really proud of this year.
Congratulations, Paige.
Thank you.
What was the most important lesson you learned in 2022?
This one was hard because I feel like there's so much with the new position and taking on some more responsibilities, but if you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything. So being able to really find my voice in this new position and to push back when I knew something didn't sit right in my gut has been a really good learning moment for me this year.
And then finally, the last question of the 2022 personal review is, what felt difficult 1 year ago that feels easier today?
Yeah, the pre-sale packaging for partnerships, that was something that was incredibly daunting for me. It would take me forever to do decks, and I just have gotten way more efficient. And I think I have taken what I have learned on the service side of partnerships, and I'm starting to translate that more on the pre-sale side, which kind of does help with retention and revenue. So it's quicker, it's coming to me in a much different way. So that's been a good learning curve.
Awesome. Okay, time for 2023 goals. And the way that I do this is we've got 3 here. So what are 3 things you hope to improve upon in 2023?
So kind of goes back to what felt difficult 1 year ago that feels easier today, but want to rethink about our deck process at Spartan and think about how can we be more proactive versus reactive when a brand approaches us, still having that flexibility to customize and create things that are really going to align with their goals and KPIs. But I just think we're not very efficient. Like, we can just really streamline that effort altogether. A second one would be think less about the no's and think more about the and yes. Anyone who has ever worked with sales reps, it is so easy to be so quick and say, nope, we're not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense. You're making my life more difficult. While that is still valid at times, I would like to approach some things with not a knee-jerk reaction, because I know the complications of what they're trying to do, but kind of approach it as, all right, there's something there. Let's dive into it. Let's figure this out versus the ultimate no. And then lastly, stepping into a management role, I absolutely adore my team and the mama bear comes out of me, but as I am always advocating for my team members, I no longer advocate for myself as much. So wanting to put my own oxygen mask on first. So want to find better communication with my boss and asking him for what I need, not always what does my team need.
These are all really great. And what I'm going to tell you to do is revisit those goals, or because they really apply to almost your day-to-day work, like writing them on just a little post-it and sticking it to the bottom of your monitor so that you can be reminded of those things, right? When you get an email from the sales team and you feel a certain feeling reading the email, you can look at that and think, okay, and can I think and yes, or what is a way that I could think yes about this ask? Or when it comes to celebrating a success, certainly cheering for your team, but like, what was Paige's role in that success? And then what can you do to continue to fuel that celebration of what you're accomplishing? Should you keep a spreadsheet with all of your wins? And maybe you're doing that because you've got that post-it note, and now you can have your woohoo folder, like also include all the things that you can cheer for yourself about, that you can recognize as your accomplishments. So I think a good one here is to make sure you keep those handy, because it's going to change your behavior if you're following those goals that you outline for yourself.
I like that. I like the sticky note at the bottom of your screen. It's a good place to house it.
Okay, so what do you want to spend more time on professionally in 2023? What do you enjoy in your job that you hope to do more of?
So this answer kind of surprised me, and I kind of wrote it without thinking about it. And I think it's just shown how much I've grown professionally. I want to really focus on data and strategy and revenue. And if 22-year-old Paige would hear that come out of 28-year-old's mouth, like she would be like, you have gone to the dark side. You know, starting out in events and loving events and having my creativity stretched there, I always shied away from the more like what seemed complicated or outside of what my brain could ever process. But as I've gotten older and realizing like numbers are fun, like I do enjoy spreadsheets, like numbers don't lie, this can really help us. I kind of want to dive into a little bit more of the analytical things, and still honing on my creativity skills, but open a whole new window for me.
All right. The next question is, what are the top 3 things that you want to achieve professionally?
Yes. So I kind of bucketed these. So I have Spartan, management, and then growth. In my Spartan bucket, I have improve working relationships with sponsorship and marketing. Anywhere you go, there are always people who are going to butt heads about what sponsorship and what marketing wants to do. But I am such a believer in both groups can work parallel and not against each other. So I want to continue to improve processes, hold sales reps accountable, kind of again, that and yes model of how do we come together and achieve that common goal, and really want to be that positive light and build that culture at Spartan. 2, with management, delegation and making sure the members on my team are growing and taking on some of those high level tasks that sometimes I feel like I need to hold because they have so many other day-to-day things to do. I want to make sure that my delegation helps them grow and helps them be better than where they started. And then growth, I am very lucky that I have completed my vision board that I created for myself at 16. But when you complete something, now you have to start something else. And so I really want to go through that same exercise and map out my next 3 to 5 years. It's really exciting because I don't know what that is, but it's also really scary because I don't know what that is. So really taking the time to map that out and create that new vision board for myself.
So I love that you said delegation as one of your achievements of 2023. I bet that's a really good example for a lot of people listening to this. Is that one of your 3 also? We have a tendency to take on so much. So what can be delegated so that you can really shine in the rest of the work? And then vision board, man, get that vision board done in January. Like, let's get those magazines and start cutting. Or do you do digital now? Do you do like Pinterest? Like, what do you do?
I mean, Pinterest is my go-to social media. Like that's my happy place, but there's something about physically cutting things out and putting it on something that just, I feel like it holds yourself more accountable. Like the amount of things that I pinned on my Pinterest that are probably never going to happen, but are great to have. But this is something that I do want to sit in my office and I can continue to stare at it. And, you know, there were things on my vision board that made it was 16 that I didn't do because my goals changed or my vision for my life changed, but it was still a great guiding light and I was still able to kind of like transfer it to different meanings. So I'm ready for that next one.
I love that. I can't wait to see it when it's done. And if you're listening, do you need a vision board? This is your reminder. This is your calling to do one for yourself, because it's really incredible, like what we can manifest if we acknowledge it, right? It's this act of greater than verbalization. It's visualization of what you want in your future. And I believe that tells our brain, like, start working. Start working on it. That's so cool. Okay. All right. So that was top 3 things you want to achieve professionally. And the next one is, what do you want to spend more time on personally in 2023? What do you enjoy outside of work that you want to do more of?
I want to get back into crafting. I like, this is the first place I've lived that I do not have my craft box. I don't have any supplies from Michael's. And I recently got to do like a quick project and I was like, wow, this really does feed my soul. So I want to be able to create things again, because I've always have held positions where I've painted things or I've had to create things from ground up because we've had no money. At high school, I was a social officer at my dance team and was basically like the fun committee. In college, I did the same thing. So I kind of neglected that part of myself and hope to bring that back in 2023.
Again, like post this on social media. But I love what you said there about expressing your creativity, because that's also a part of unlocking our total human potential, like using your whole brain and carving out the time to do those projects that you want to work on. I love that. All right. So what are the top 3 things that you want to achieve personally?
Yes. So I want to hit my savings and investment goals earlier in the year versus barely cutting it at the end of the year. I want to find a new purpose with a volunteer or charity opportunity. That's been another thing that I was really passionate about early on, and it's kind of dropped off over the last few years. So don't know what that is yet, but I want to find it. And then I want to just get off my phone. And I think this is going to play into the crafting. Like I don't even watch TV anymore. I just put something on and just scroll social media for hours. So whether it's going to be knitting or coloring, I don't know what it's going to be, but I want to do something more creative than continue to go down the rabbit hole of TikTok.
Yeah, I think everyone is probably also in that boat. This is such a great example of like goals that we can set for ourselves and less time on social media. I'd also encourage you to be more specific about that. Like we all get our reports on the iPhone on how much time you spent on your phone, this like screen time for the week. So what does that say? What's the number of hours and the amount of time that you spent on social media? And what's the goal for the decrease? So I would encourage you to think about that and, use your other goal about data and put a number to it so you can hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, you can put limitations on your app use on your iPhone, which is great. And I did that for a little bit, and I need to go back to doing that because that's a huge helper on that.
Yeah, it's such a waste of time if it's not like for a reason,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, the extra credit portion. So I love the first half of this exercise, but I'm like, it needs a little bit more. Like we just need a little bit more. So I defined 4 categories where you could assign 2 goals to make you think a little bit deeper than like work and maybe the first things that came to your mind for personal growth. And so the 4 words are challenge, achieve, learn, and health. And use each one of these words to assign 2 additional like goals or markers for your new year. And the first one is challenge. So there's a couple ways to take it, either like a new challenge you are going to take on or doing something that challenges you. So there's like sort of 2 different ways to look at that. A challenge like a competition or something that is challenging for you specifically that like maybe you haven't been good at. Like for me, it could also fall under health, but it's 100% meditation. Like I think about the fact that I should be meditating like all the time and I never do it. And it can't be health anymore. It is moved to challenge because it is like so challenging for me to do that activity. So Paige, what are your 2 goals under challenge?
Okay, so I struggled with the extra credits. Some of this you might need to help guide me, but
Okay.
I think for the challenge, like being more sales driven, because I've always been on the activation side. I sold 1 baby partnership and now I drink the Kool-Aid. I got the commission. I'm like, this is really fun. I totally get it now. So I would like to challenge and seek opportunities with my boss to be able to sell and not always be the activation person. As someone who is creating the packages and then someone else sells them and then they get commission, I'm like, well, I want to sell and get that commission. That was my idea. So I would really want to challenge myself to seek sales opportunities next year. I only got that 1.
You only got that one. I like that one. I like that challenge part for you. So let's think of like what another challenge could be for you. And when I think challenge, I also think like measurement. So what's something else that you would want to do that you could measure the results specifically. So, all right, you said that you got into exercise more this year. Is there a challenge that you could do around exercise that you want to put down there? You, as much as you want to give up some of your time on social media, is there a challenge that you could do around social media? Is it share one more post a month about something I achieved professionally, like on LinkedIn, like that you achieved, not your team, maybe relating back up like to the top of your goal sheet?
I like that. I think a challenge is, and that would help with the social media, is I don't read anymore and I do enjoy reading. So maybe like one book a month does feel very attainable for me. So I think that would probably be it. One, whether it's like fun read or like professional development read, I think just finishing a book a month would just feel really good.
I love that. Okay. One book a month. You would alternate too. You could do business, fun.
I know. I just get so sucked into business and then I get overwhelmed that I've been like reading all the business self-help books for 6 months straight.
You have to take a break.
I know.
The best place to read chick lit is on my Kindle. I read out of every night before bed, and it's like the same story happening in a different city, but I love it. So good. Okay. The next category is achieve. So what are 2 things that you want to achieve in this next year? So you finish the year and like, what was the achievement? You have the medal or the certificate or the promotion or the bank account that supports the achievement goals.
Yes. So I think here I want the director title at my current position. I think that would just show how much that I have grown and contributed over the last year, especially with it being a really tough year at Spartan. So I want to be a director. And then one that I think might be a little off guard is I want to be added to a board or an advisory group or a steering committee, whether it's charitable, whether it's in the industry, event specific. I haven't defined that, but I would love to sit with another group of executives outside of my current day and contribute to something else.
So good. Those are great. Okay. What do you want to learn in 2023?
This one's funny. I want to learn proper cooking techniques for meat. For meats. So like fish, chicken, red meat, I have a surface level, but I really want to like get into the weeds of like perfection across all sorts of meat.
I feel like your Texas girl is finally showing. Like we don't hear it in your voice.
I love smoking meat, and that's a great technique, but like pan fry, cast iron, like there's so many opportunities. And I normally just throw something in a pan in the oven and it's good, but like it can be better.
So I love this too, because you're not even thinking this, but here's like what I'm thinking. So you finally have moved in with the one, and he is going to greatly benefit from you perfecting how to cook meat. This is awesome. So like, maybe this is 2 goals in one, because your relationship is going to strengthen because you're becoming a better cook. So
it's true. It's
For
true. And then maybe
like well-fed
he needs
people
to
are
learn
happy.
too. Yeah. Like I hate doing dishes. Like we have a rule that whoever cooks, the other person does the dishes. So it could really, really benefit a lot of parties.
All right. What's another one?
I think better data tricks in Excel. I feel like I have a good understanding, like more than the average person, because it is a pretty tricky system, but there's more codes that I could be using to be way more efficient. So I do want to start adding some, like one webinar a month that's specific to data and how I can help grow that skill set next year.
Love it. Are you planning on taking any free online courses? And if so, we should be sharing them.
Yes. I will start a list. We'll start a doc.
Sounds good. All right. The final one, and then I will make you wave my magic wand and you will be done with this episode. So health. 2 goals.
2 goals. Work-life balance, and I know that's very blanketed, but I want to be able to enjoy my evenings. I feel like I am always quick to cancel on myself to go do like the networking event or to enjoy time with my partner or to go work out because I get too like consumed in work. And while this is like the time of my life to enjoy a Tuesday night and not be like, oh, it's Tuesday, like I got to work tomorrow, I shouldn't go do it. I want to live life to the fullest before like life gets harder as I get older. So I want to be more intentional about that in my last year of my 20s. So
that is perfection. And work-life balance is a very personal definition. There is no perfection. There is no like gold standard. It's what it feels like for you. So if you guys go and do happy hour on a Tuesday, like that is probably a great example of a good work-life balance for you. Like the email is going to be there in the morning and I know you're going to answer it perfectly. Like don't skip the happy hour special to write an email.
Yep. So I want to be better about that. And then another weird one, I want to figure out proper hydration. So I know like everyone's like water, water, water. I did the like Kardashian mega thing that we were supposed to drink it throughout the day. Now I feel like I can't drink anything without immediately having to pee. So I want to figure out how to properly hydrate because whatever I'm doing is not working and water is important. So
it is, especially when
that's what I'll leave this group with.
when you're living in Florida or Texas, you need hydration. It's freaking hot.
Yep.
I think that is a perfect way to end the episode. I think you brought up like so many good examples. And one reason for doing this was I wanted to make sure that you did it. And the second was I wanted you to share not only for your massive community of accountability partners, but to give other people some ideas. Because sometimes you look at this goal sheet and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so stuck. Like somebody give me an example. I don't have a teacher here, listing 5 different things that I could consider for these goals. So given that most of our listeners are professionally driven individuals who also really love having fun and want to take care of themselves so they can continue having a great time. Like, I think a lot of what you outlined was really good. So thank you. You did it.
Of course, I did it.
Yeah, you're well on your way to achieving more than you ever thought you could because you put the thought into your growth. You set specific goals and you wrote them down in a place where you can revisit them. And you also went one step further and you shared with all of us. So thank you.
Feeling very vulnerable right now, but I want to hear what other people are doing this year. So listeners, let us know what your goals are and how we can be your accountability partners.
Yeah, share your goals with us. We're going to throw up some polls on our Instagram. So make it easy. We can say, okay, what is one of your health goals? We're going to put down water. We're going to put down 5K. Like we'll put down some of the easy ones you could just tap through. And we'll see what you all are into and support you as best we can throughout that journey. So thank you for listening to Leadership is Female. Thank you for being such a great support in this community. Paige, you rock. And we will see you all soon. Thank you.
Bye.